Change begins before the first step. There is one question that has the power to completely change the direction of your life. Who are you becoming every single day? Most people spend so much time trying to change their circumstances that they forget to transform the only thing they truly control, themselves. They want more money, yet they keep the same habits. They dream of a different life, yet continue making the same decisions. They wait for opportunities, without realizing that opportunities usually find those who are prepared, not those who simply wait. The great philosophers of antiquity understood this long before the modern world existed. Centuries later, scholars of success arrived at the very same conclusion: every lasting achievement is first born within a person. Before you can change your results, you must change the way you think. Before you can achieve new goals, you must develop a new identity. Because life rarely delivers different outcomes to those who continue living the same way. Perhaps you believe that the next job, the next business venture, or the next opportunity will solve everything. But there is a truth that very few people are willing to accept. If your mind remains disorganized, even the greatest opportunities can be wasted. On the other hand, when you have clarity, discipline, and direction, even the smallest beginnings can grow into extraordinary stories. That is why so many people start the year full of motivation, only to find themselves back where they started just a few months later. They tried to change only what was on the outside. They forgot that every genuine transformation begins from within. Throughout this video, you will discover 7 timeless principles that have endured for centuries because they continue to produce results for those who choose to put them into practice. These are not magic formulas. They do not promise overnight success. They are principles that strengthen your mind, build discipline, and create a solid foundation for any goal you want to achieve. But there is one condition. It is not enough to listen and agree. You must decide. Because knowledge without action remains nothing more than knowledge. But a single decision put into practice today can completely change the course of the years ahead. So stay with me until the very end. One of these principles may be exactly what you have been missing to stop merely dreaming about a better life and finally begin building it. Habit 1: learn to protect your focus. If there is one habit capable of accelerating any transformation, it is the ability to maintain your focus. It sounds simple. But in practice, very few people can stay focused for long on what truly matters. We live surrounded by distractions. Every moment brings new information, a new concern, or something competing for our attention. Little by little, this becomes an invisible habit. You begin a task, and within minutes your mind is already somewhere else. You start a project full of enthusiasm, only to lose interest and move on to the next one. The result is always the same. A lot of movement. Very little progress. The ancient philosophers taught that a mind without direction rarely finds peace. Not because it lacks intelligence, but because it wastes its energy on things that produce no meaningful results. It is like trying to light an entire forest with a small flashlight. The light is there, but it is spread too thin to make a difference. Now imagine that same light concentrated on a single point. It becomes stronger. It cuts through the darkness. The same is true of your attention. When you choose to direct all your energy toward one goal at a time, something begins to change. Your decisions become clearer. Your work becomes more productive. Your confidence grows. And for the first time, you realize that you did not need more time. You needed fewer distractions. Perhaps the greatest challenge of our generation is not working harder. Perhaps it is learning to protect the one thing that truly successful people never waste: their focus. Because every great achievement begins the moment you stop dividing your attention among dozens of different paths and choose to move forward with determination on just one of them. Habit 2: discipline begins in your mind. But there is an enemy even more dangerous than the distractions that come from the outside. It is the one that comes from within. While many people blame their phones, their environment, or their lack of time, they forget that the greatest thief of productivity is often their own mind. It is the thoughts that interrupt your work. The worries that occupy your mind before the problems even exist. The memories of the past that refuse to let go. and the fears about a future that has not even happened yet. When this becomes a habit, your energy is drained without you even realizing it. You reach the end of the day exhausted, not because you worked too hard. You are tired because you spent hours battling your own thoughts. The Stoic philosophers taught that not everything that passes through your mind deserves your attention. You are not obligated to follow every thought that appears. You can observe it, question it, and simply let it go. That is one of the greatest demonstrations of inner strength a person can develop. Those who learn to control their own attention stop being prisoners of their circumstances. They begin to respond calmly where they once reacted impulsively. They see solutions where they once saw only problems. And they make decisions with far greater clarity. So here is a simple exercise. Choose one moment during your day to focus on a single task. Without checking your phone. Without switching between different activities. Without allowing any distraction to interrupt that commitment. At first, it will be difficult. Your mind will try to escape. It will look for any excuse to abandon what you are doing. But that is precisely the moment when discipline begins to take shape. Because every time you reclaim your attention, you strengthen your ability to direct your own life. And those who learn to master their own mind discover that focus is not a talent. It is a skill that can be trained every single day. Habit 3. Break free from what controls you. There is one uncomfortable question that very few people ask themselves. What is really controlling my life? At first, the answer usually comes quickly. Me. But if you observe your daily routine for just a few days, you may realize that the truth is not always so simple. Some people are controlled by a constant need for approval. Others cannot go even a few minutes without checking their phones. Some are ruled by the fear of failure, by anxiety, by excessive consumption, or by the habit of postponing everything that truly matters. These prisons are not always loud. Most of the time, they are silent. And that is precisely what makes them so dangerous. The ancient philosophers taught that the worst form of slavery is the one a person does not even realize they are living in. Because the moment you depend on something to feel complete, you begin to surrender your freedom without even noticing. Little by little, you stop making conscious choices and start obeying your impulses instead. That is how so many dreams are abandoned. Not because people lack ability, but because small habits begin to control life's biggest decisions. Pause for a moment and reflect. Is there a behavior you know you should change, yet you continue repeating every single day? Perhaps you have promised yourself countless times that you would finally let go of that habit. Yet when the moment comes, you end up making the very same choice once again. The good news is that every transformation begins with a simple act of recognition. No one can defeat an enemy they refuse to acknowledge. When you identify what is stealing your energy, you regain the power to choose. That does not mean the transformation will happen overnight. But it does mean that, for the first time, you are no longer being guided on autopilot. You have begun to take control of your own life. True freedom is not the ability to do whatever you want. It is the ability to say no to whatever prevents you from becoming the person you were meant to be. And it is that freedom that opens the door to your next great transformation. Habit 4. Change your mind before you change your life. There is one mistake that keeps thousands of people stuck in the same place for years. They believe that change depends on a new job, a new city, a new relationship, or a new opportunity. They think that if their circumstances change, life will finally begin to work out. But reality is usually different. Because when your mindset remains the same, old problems always find a way to return. You can move to a new environment. You can meet new people. You can even earn more money. But if you continue feeding the same limiting beliefs and repeating the same behaviors, your results are unlikely to change. The greatest sages throughout history have always taught that true transformation begins within. The outside world simply reflects what is already being built on the inside. So before asking why your life has not changed yet, ask yourself a more important question. What kind of person am I becoming every single day? Because the answer to that question says far more about your future than any prediction ever could. If you see yourself as someone who is incapable, every opportunity will seem too big for you. If you believe you will never be enough, you will spend your life constantly seeking approval. But when you change the way you see yourself, your actions begin to change naturally. And little by little, your results begin to reflect that transformation. Real change does not happen when you find an easier path. It happens when you choose to walk a different one. That is the moment life begins to respond to your new choices. Because the greatest obstacle was never the place where you are. It has always been the person you believed yourself to be. And when that person changes, your future changes too. Habit 5. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. There is one question that all of us should answer honestly. What are you putting off at this very moment? Perhaps it is starting a project, taking a course, launching a business, changing careers, or simply taking the first step toward the life you have always imagined. The problem is that most people believe they will wake up one day feeling completely ready, with more confidence, with less fear, with all the answers. But that day almost never comes. Because confidence is not born before action. It is built along the journey. Those who wait until they feel courageous enough to act usually remain exactly where they are. But those who choose to act despite their doubts discover that every small step strengthens their confidence. That is how every great achievement begins. Not with one giant leap, but with a decision that seems surprisingly simple. Think about how many opportunities have already passed you by simply because you believed the time was not right. Meanwhile, other people, just as imperfect as you, decided to begin. They made mistakes. They learned. They improved. And today they are enjoying results that once seemed impossible. The difference was never the absence of fear. It was the willingness to act in spite of it. Life rewards those who keep moving. Every action creates learning. Every lesson builds experience. And every experience brings you one step closer to the person you want to become. So do not wait until next Monday. Do not wait until next month. And certainly do not wait until next year. The best time to change your direction will always be the moment you decide to stop postponing your own life. Because the future is not built by the intentions you keep inside. It is built by the actions you choose to take today. Habit 6. Pursue progress, not perfection. There is one trap that keeps many people from achieving their dreams. And, ironically, it often disguises itself as a virtue. It is perfectionism. At first glance, it seems like a positive trait. After all, who does not want to do an excellent job? The problem begins when the pursuit of perfection prevents you from taking the first step. You review your work one more time. You decide to learn just a little more. You convince yourself that something is still missing. Meanwhile, the days pass. And so do the opportunities. The truth is that no extraordinary person began at the peak of their abilities. Every great writer produced pages that were never published. Every entrepreneur made poor decisions. Every artist created works they are no longer proud of. What sets these people apart is not the absence of mistakes. It is the courage to keep moving forward despite them. The great philosophers understood that growth happens through practice, not before it. Every attempt teaches something that no book can fully explain. Every challenge develops a skill that theory alone could never provide. That is why waiting until you are completely prepared is an illusion. True preparation happens while you are moving forward. Think about someone you deeply admire. The success you see today is the result of hundreds of small adjustments made over time. It was not perfection that brought them there. It was consistency. It was the willingness to become just a little better every single day. This is one of the greatest lessons for anyone who wants to build a different life. Do not ask yourself whether it is perfect. Ask yourself whether it is better than it was yesterday. Because those who keep improving consistently will always go farther than those who spend their lives waiting for the perfect moment to begin. In the end, excellence is not a starting point. It is the natural result of someone who never stopped moving forward. Habit 7. Learn to let go of the weight of the past. There is a burden that many people carry for years without even realizing it. It does not appear in their eyes. It does not weigh on their hands. But it consumes their peace, their energy, and their ability to move forward. It is resentment. Holding on to hurt can feel, for a while, like a form of justice. We think that by feeding that pain, we are somehow punishing the person who hurt us. But the truth is different. Most of the time, the only person who continues to suffer is the one who refuses to leave the past behind. The great sages taught that we cannot control what others have done to us. But we can always choose what we will do with that experience. That is where true freedom begins. Forgiveness does not mean pretending the mistake was small. It does not mean forgetting what happened. It simply means that you have decided not to allow that moment to continue controlling your life. Because every bit of energy spent feeding the past is energy that is no longer invested in building the future. Think about how many opportunities may have been lost simply because your mind remained trapped in something that had already ended. While you continue reliving old disappointments, life keeps moving forward. New people arrive. New doors open. New possibilities appear. But it is impossible to embrace what is new when your hands are still holding on to what is old. Perhaps today is the moment to make a quiet decision. Not for someone else. For yourself. Choose to leave behind what no longer adds anything to your journey. The lighter you travel, the farther you can go. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson of all. An extraordinary life is not built only by what you achieve. It is also built by what you choose to leave behind. Because when the mind finds peace, the heart regains the strength to write a new chapter of your story. Conclusion: the decision that defines your future. Throughout this journey, you have discovered 7 timeless principles that have endured for centuries. Not because they are easy, but because they continue to work for anyone who is willing to put them into practice. Perhaps, as you listen to this message, you realize that the problem was never a lack of intelligence. Nor was it a lack of opportunities. Perhaps what was missing was direction. A clearer focus. Greater discipline. The courage to act without waiting for the perfect moment. The humility to accept that growing is more important than appearing perfect. And the freedom to leave behind everything that no longer deserves a place in your life. But now we have reached the most important part of this video. Nothing you have heard will make any difference if it remains only as inspiration. Knowledge alone does not transform anyone. Books do not change lives. Videos do not either. What truly changes a person's story are the decisions they make after the video ends. In just a few minutes, you will return to your daily routine. The same responsibilities will still be waiting for you. The same challenges will still exist. The difference is that now you have a choice. You can face them as the same person you were yesterday. Or as someone who has decided to take the first step toward becoming a new version of yourself. Do not try to apply everything at once. Choose just one of these habits. Just one. Practice it over the next few days until it becomes part of your daily routine. Then move on to the next one. That is how great transformations happen. Not through one massive decision, but through small choices made consistently over time. Remember one thing. The future you desire will not be built in a single day. But it can begin in a single day. And that day can be today. If this message resonated with you, write in the comments. Today, I choose to grow. It will be more than just a sentence. It will be a public commitment to the person you have decided to become. And if you know someone who needs to hear these words, share this video with them. Sometimes a single message reaches someone at the exact moment they were about to give up. Thank you for staying with me until the very end. Now, the decision is in your hands. Because the life you will live tomorrow begins with the choices you make today. If this message spoke to you, don't let it end here. There is a big difference between watching a video and allowing it to transform your life. Real change begins the moment you make a decision. So right now, write this in the comments. Today, I choose to become a better person. This is more than just a comment. It is a commitment to the person you want to become. And I want to challenge you. Choose just one of the 7 habits you learned today and practice it for the next 7 days. Don't try to change everything at once. True transformation happens when small actions are repeated consistently. If you accept this challenge, come back here afterward and tell me how this decision impacted your life. I'll be reading your comments. If you found value in this video, please like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. That way, you won't miss future videos designed to strengthen your mindset, build your discipline, and help you create a life of purpose. And share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. You never know when a single idea can ignite new hope and completely change the course of someone's life. Remember, your future will not be defined by what you know, but by what you choose to do starting today. I'll see you in the next video.